Hey, so in this video, I want to add my 2 cents to the conversation about the three main or foundational sociological perspectives. First of all, you'll hear them talked about as sociological paradigms or sociological theoretical perspectives or theoretical approaches. They'll be called a lot of things, but there's usually going to be three of them: the structural functionalist approach, the social conflict theory, and symbolic interactionism. I am not going to go through each one of them. Let me share my screen for a minute. Um, I guess this is the one. I'm not going to share each one of them because if you are looking at the textbook, this is me in Eagle in 190. You can, when you go into like chapter 1, for instance, you will see those theoretical perspectives in our textbook, right? Those are the three: structural functionalism, conflict theory, and symbolic interactionism. There's also a video from Crash Course Sociology that goes through those major sociological paradigms, right? You can watch it right here in Eagle or click this YouTube icon here and then watch it here on YouTube. So I'm not going to go through each one of them individually because there's way too much information online and in your textbook that will give you those three sociological perspectives. The thing that I like to add to that, though, for students in particular, is understanding essentially what a theory is, what a theoretical perspective allows you to do. A theoretical perspective, in this case, is really just buckets. Like, imagine sociology has three main buckets of thought. Politically, we would say that there are two main buckets of thought. In the US, for instance, you can either be conservative minded or liberal minded. And essentially, what that means is you have some underlying general belief system or understanding of how things work. It's not the truth necessarily, it's not a big T, this is the truth, but it is a very supported understanding paradigm about how you see the world. And what theories do for us then is it guides the kinds of questions that we ask. What are the kinds of things when we're paying attention to the situation, whatever that is, what are we going to zoom in on? What is the most important factor? And so your theoretical perspective guides what kinds of questions or what kinds of things you're going to focus on. And when we have data or information in the world, it also makes us interpret what we see in a particular way because we generally believe a certain something. In sociology, as a science, we don't care to know these things for no good reason. We want to understand society so that we can sustain it, so that we can continue to thrive. We're the only human species walking the earth, and we don't want to disappear. And so we want our societies to be successful. And so what theoretical perspectives allow us to do is get very good scientifically about almost being predictive. It's not a social determinism. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we can say with some confidence, if these things are happening, then the likelihood that this other thing is going to happen it stands the test of time. Like, and then if we want that thing to happen, let's really, really do more of it because that's the likelihood of what we're going to get. If we don't want that thing to happen, then let's change something because our science is helping us predict that unless we do something else, that's what we're going to get, right? So theories give us the baseline of how we're thinking about things so that we can be kind of predictive in our society. Remember, we don't want to know just to know. We want to solve our problems. The things that we're doing well, we want to keep doing them. The things that we're not doing so well, we want to figure out how to change them. Sociology as a science, just like most of our sciences, help us try to figure out the best way to do better for the world. So these three sociological perspectives, the structural functionalism perspective, the social conflict theories, and the symbolic interactionist perspective, they're just buckets of thought. And although we will attach those three main theories to three main people, Your books will give you, introduction to sociology books always give you a whole host of names, but it's really good to know, is that person generally in this camp, generally in the second camp, or generally in the third camp? Because if I know where they're coming from, then I can understand better what it is that they're saying. Again, your book gives you a lot of names. The videos will often give you multiple names, but there's three that I want you to always pay attention to, because there's three that we'll get back to. For structural functionalism, we will talk about Emile Durkheim, a French thinker, as sort of one of our fathers of sociology. When we talk about social conflict theory, we generally talk about Karl Marx, who was a thinker, a historian, and a economist, I believe, in Germany, who we associate with sort of our understanding of socialism and communism. Not a sociologist, but the way that he thought about the world sort of forms the foundation of the social conflict theory. And then there's Max Weber, spelled Weber. When we talk about symbolic interactionism, we'll often talk about Max Weber. You'll hear those three names often. You'll see even on my thumbnails, there's, I think I called it Marx, Weber, Durkheim, Dee. So because those are our three, we'll always talk about Durkheim, Marx, and Weber. So that's the thing that I want you to take away as you learn about those sociological perspectives. They're not big T truths. They're just buckets of thought that will guide the questions that we ask. And so when you see these theories pop up, or you see these people talking about things sociologically, always try to think about what bucket they're in, because that'll help you understand where we're coming from. So that's it. I'll talk to you in the next video.